Yeah! It's another episode of CinemaSon. It's another episode of CinemaSon. It's not Pixarspective, but CinemaSon. I also said Pixarspective, but I didn't say it until just now. It's not Pixarspective, it's CinemaSon with Kiki's delivery service.
Boop, boop, boop. Go.
GG is not Phil Hartman. Hello, everybody! Welcome!
Welcome to CinemaSon. I almost said welcome to Pixarspective.
See, I almost did
so
close. To keep this joke alive, Pixarspective never die.
It's been a month since we last recorded, and it's getting kind of weird to get back into the podcast talk again.
Yes.
God damn it.
Oh, Lord.
And yeah,
it's that time. We've taken a break from the holidays. It's now 2020, January 2020, and we want to start it off with watching anime. So we're gonna do that.
Oh, of course.
And Kirbyfan, do you want to say what movie we watched this time?
You already sang
this time we watched Redline.
Let's talk about Redline.
Wait a minute. Did I watch the wrong movie?
But yes. I almost said but that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Today, we will be talking about, as Random already said, thank you for that beautiful song, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yep, yeah. And we're in episode 4, of our podcast about anime films, and we're only now getting around to a Miyazaki film.
Yep.
We're getting around to the obvious choice.
Yeah.
For anime films.
Yeah, halfway point, it was the halfway point or the starting point.
Which is funny, because this was originally the one we were going to start off with.
It was. And then it was Silent Voice instead, and here we are now.
Yeah, and as with the Wolf Children. Was it Wolf? Yeah, Wolf Children. Having to follow up with Silent Voice. It's not gonna happen. So we're going for Kiki's Delivery Service. I can at least say some history on this. I haven't watched this film, but Miyazaki is pretty much with the exception of Satoshi Kon, Miyazaki is pretty much the only anime film director that I can even name, and probably that I'm really aware of. And as I said, I haven't seen Kiki's Delivery Service, but I have seen Howard's Moving Castle and Princess Mononoke. Kirbyfan, of course, was the one to show me Howard's Moving Castle. And I saw Princess Mononoke. I spotted it at a library and thought, yeah, why not? And gave it a spin in the DVD player, and it was a very good film. It was just that I had big problems with the dub. The Disney dub of Princess Mononoke was hit and miss. Billy Bob Thornton, huge miss. Oof. I was just having a hard time with the dub in that. Which is why when we went for Kiki's Delivery Service and we had the choice between sub or dub, I adamantly said sub because I didn't want to have that tainted. And as I found out minutes before we started recording, that was a very good choice.
Yes.
But that's pretty much my background with Kiki's Delivery Service. It was one of those, being a animation buff, I just see Kiki's Delivery Service, see screenshots and the characters, they show up all the time in animation circles. It's just for being like a beautiful film, and it is a beautiful film, which we'll get into soon. But that's pretty much all I really knew on it.
Random, do you want to go next? Because I get to go last. I feel like I get to go last again. I'm excited.
So basically, I was in the same boat as Watt. I've never seen Kiki's Delivery Service. It was always be this film that I heard about, but just I heard people talking about, but I never saw it. I have heard of Miyazaki. I know of him, of course, but I saw his films a lot less than watched it. Because again, the only Miyazaki film that I have seen is a little bit of Ponyo. That's it.
Oh yeah.
And not even the whole thing, just like from the midpoint to the end. So I have no idea what it is. But that's my only Miyazaki experience, Ponyo. And I think, my professor showed me a clip of Howl's Moving Castle. I think. I don't remember. But,
okay.
Either way, it was the dubbed version. And I just remember Liam Neeson being in Ponyo. That's it. That's all I know. I like going for the dubs, personally. For Redline, we had no choice but to go with the dub. For Wolf Children, I went with the dub. For Silent Voice, I went to the dub. But it was more
And why is that?
I don't know. I guess I wasn't, I don't know. I just wanted to see, I felt like hearing the performances and, like, understanding the performance instead of just reading the subtitles felt better for me at the time, but for Kiki's, I decided to watch the sub version. Not just because it was convenient financially for all of us, but also, actually it was just because it was convenient at the time. But I was curious to see what it would be like watching it subtitled instead of dubbed too. And I did, and I'm glad I did after hearing the dub cast, which we'll talk about. But, I watched, it was like the first, like, anime movie I watched, like, with subtitles, and not just, like, dubbed. So it was an interesting experience. Kirbyfan.
So my first time seeing Kiki's Delivery Service, it was as it was for, well, I actually didn't watch Kiki's for a while. I think it was only 2-3 years ago that I saw it for the first time. A lot of people, I've seen my fair share of Miyazaki films, quite a few, more than you two. But not Kiki's for a while, and everyone was always telling me, oh, you love Kiki's, give it a watch. And I watched the Disney dub first and foremost, and then down the line, I decided to watch the Japanese dub. And for most things, there's an English dub and a Japanese dub, and you leave it at that. But, not for Kiki's. Kiki's is a little more complicated than that. There's the Japanese dub, there is the Disney dub, there is the redone Disney dub, and I say redone, but it's not really redone, it's the edited Disney dub. And then there is an entirely different dub done by the dubbing company Streamline. And really they're not all very different, but they give off, one's in Japanese, so that one automatically stands out, and then one is Disney in English and the other is not. And then you look at the Disney one in English and there's two different versions of the Disney one in English. There's so much to juggle, but for watching the film today, I watched the Streamline dub for the first time, and it is a lot more faithful to the original than the Disney dub is, at least the original Disney dub. Much better voice for Gigi. Phil Hartman is good. He was not meant for Gigi. I think we could just get that out of the way right now.
I still can't believe that the choice that had to have been like what year did this film come out?
Like,
with the dub, I believe
I know the original came out in
this...
'89, but when did the Disney dub come out?
I want to say it came out in '98.
90. Okay, so I'm thinking that they went for Robin Williams genie choice of casting.
Yeah,
like you have to go for that sort of actor for your lovable sidekick, which you really don't.
Especially not in this case.
and if you do, not Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman is a gem, but also he has a very distinct voice. And this, having watched the Japanese version, I can't even picture the, like, Gigi, with the sort of, hi, I'm Troy McClure. That sort of.
We were making a lot of Simpsons jokes before we started recording.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, Kiki, I couldn't help notice your delivery service there.
But as far as my own history with Kiki, when I saw it for the first time, just like everybody said, I loved it. Then I saw the Disney. Well, okay, so I loved the film. I respected, I guess, the dub. There are a lot of good parts to the dub. Phil Hartman as Gigi is really distracting, but on a whole, it's a good dub. But then I saw the Japanese dub. I liked it a lot more. And watching the streamlined dub, the acting's not particularly good, but it has a charm to it, and I think it fits the movie. I like the streamlined dub a lot. But did I like the movie a lot? Still.
Oh, that's what we're here to find out.
We're here to find out.
Oh yeah. With guest starring Wash and Random Opinions.
Guest starring my opinion.
Not even you two, just your opinions.
Yeah, so,
all right.
Here's how it starts out. Kiki is, like, lying down on a hill and listening to the radio.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's a great opening shot, by the way.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. But, if we are gonna first, like, set up that, like, the basic plot, which is that, Kiki is, a witch in a family of, I couldn't fully tell if it was a family of witches or was just that the mother was a witch and she had inherited that. But there's some sort of tradition where when a witch turns 13, they become independent and they go off, travel to a completely different city or location and do some witch training. And that's what this is. It's the film is Kiki moving to a new city, trying to make it in the big city. She has a delivery service, tries to make some money off her witch powers, and then that's the movie.
That's it. Yeah. It's Kiki's
it's kind of
daily
more
life.
like a slow ride of a film. It's not like it's like a constant pace of plot. It's just like she's hanging out, and honestly, I love it.
Oh yeah, it's very very episodic.
This shouldn't come as a surprise. This shouldn't come as a surprise coming from the person who literally ranked Cars as high as I did for Pixar Perspective because it was a slower movie. That shouldn't come as a surprise. Yes. I adore this.
I'm gonna steal this from a YouTuber I watched after seeing this. I believe his name is Patrick H. Williams. I don't know if I butchered that or not. But he said this is of all the movies he's seen, this is the one he most wants to live in, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Yes,
like this is
absolutely.
This is like Animal Crossing as a film.
Yes,
it's just
oh my god,
it's so peaceful. It's so slow going. There's so little like. The conflicts are really just like Kiki's own internal conflict.
Yeah.
And like besides that, just like everyone's just really chill.
Yeah.
So I really do wanna talk about Kiki herself, and we do typically start with the character, but there is something that I really want to bring up before that. I think Wash brought this up for Silent Voice, and valid point, but I mean Silent Voice still kind of followed this, and so did Wolf Children and Redline. But out of really including Pixar Perspective, it was really nice to see a movie that didn't really follow the 3-act structure.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh my god, it doesn't
it
does its own thing kind of, and it's almost I don't want to say it's episodic, but it's more just like just kind of like it's just like it's Kiki's life. Here's what happens in it. Does this happen? Yes.
I'm gonna make this comparison just because I feel like real smug about it. This is what The Good Dinosaur wanted to be.
Don't you dare compare this film to that piece of shit.
Like Kiki's delivery service is very much like it's a series of vignettes and they serve to inform Kiki as the character and inform her like her struggles with herself and her wish background, and it pays off in a there's a character that comes up later on that really makes the whole thing tie together, which is really something special.
And the best part is you don't hear something. The best part is you don't hear something like "Come on, Kiki."
That'll be voiced by Phil Hartman.
I was just gonna say, maybe Phil Hartman said that.
Come on, Kiki.
Hi, I'm Kiki the cat. Come on, Kiki. Wait, I fucked it up. Damn it.
Wow.
You gotta edit this out. I'm just gonna keep screaming, edit this out. I'm just gonna keep screaming, edit this out, 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 edit this out.
Kiki's delivery service. Don't you dare compare.
No.
Damn it.
So The Good Dinosaur is a good Pixar film comparison, but watching it, and I know I brought this up already, but I just want to talk about Cars more. I got very much of a Cars vibe, not through the characters at all, but through the setting and, kind of the point of the story being for this character to grow up. I know it sounds weird for Lightning, but that's pretty much what happened with Lightning. Like, he didn't grow up in terms of aging, but he grew up in terms of maturity, his outlook on the world. It just became more of a person because of it. And, I love that about Cars, but that is actually full on the point of Kiki's. So unlike Cars, it's the point of Kiki, so a lot more of the movie was able to build to that point.
I'm gonna say, not to punch down too much on Cars, but one of the major things that I like about Kiki's delivery service over Cars is, one, I like the main character is just plain better.
Yes.
Like
the main character is likable, adventurous, happy.
Yes.
Usually, but also
kind-hearted.
Kind-hearted, but also like she has her doubts. She has her moments where she's not sure if she can do this. She has like fears, but she still wants to make this work.
Yeah, exactly. And so it doesn't make her plotline like a redemption arc. It just becomes more of a coming of age story of just figuring herself out. Which I've said on another podcast that you could check out that I felt that the redemption was very slow for Lightning McQueen, and that he needed I just wasn't much of a fan. And the other thing is that I like the town a lot better in Kiki's.
Yes.
And I like the Cars is fine, but I felt like a lot of the characters were too broad. There was the Italian, and there was Kiki's was more like this could really just be like any other town. You have the businesswoman, you have the baker, you have the little kid who's like super into aviation, you have the older ladies who are like not trustworthy of technology. Like, how dare this oven?
I never liked the electricity.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And just it's just like a smattering of different characters just along the way, and just like everybody just felt it felt like a lived-in space, and I believe that like the inspiration of this was this was set in a not in a vague European city before before World War I or World War II. Like this was it's just a very peaceful, like tranquil times, and that helps a lot with this feeling of like it's like you have nostalgia for this place that you've just now seen. So in the beginning of the film, when she's traveling just like out in the world, she goes inside a train just to have a nap, and she's in this like she finds like this giant pile of soft hay, and then like the next morning, it turns out that this bed is actually like a pile that the cows underneath eat for their meal. And she like pops out and like looks at all the cows, and she says, "Sorry, we didn't mean to fall asleep in your breakfast." And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
She's apologizing to cows.
No, definitely the my big feel good moment, like right off the bat. This isn't even, I think, 5 minutes into the film, but it's when she's getting ready to leave and she's in the room with her dad, and they're just talking and playing and laughing, and
Yes.
it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah. It like, there's like stuff like that that's like, in any other movie, there would be like some sort of big payoff for that, but it's just part of her adventure, part of her journey. Like when she's flying up and looking for a city, she spots another witch who's going through the same journey, but she's more experienced, and she's like snootier. Like I'd say snootier with a question mark, because like aside from her like the air she carries, she's not really like talking much. She's not really talking down much.
Yeah, she kind of starts that way, but I feel like she kind of eased down when she saw how genuine Kiki was. She started by saying, "Turn off that music. I don't like having that music." But once Kiki did, and she just kind of talked to her, and she kind of let her guard down and just gave her words of wisdom from someone who's a little more experienced.
Yeah,
and then Gigi was talking about how much he hates stuck-up cats.
Or stuck-up people.
Which comes up later, too.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Gigi is a terrible
just
judge of
hates other
character.
cats. So, oh god, do we want to start with Kiki or like Gigi?
No,
Kiki.
I'll always start in this conversation.
I mean, we already started, but Kiki. I say Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki. Yeah, we already did kind of start about her, though. She's very genuine. She's very, like, looks on the bright side a lot, always trying to, like, but also trying to find her purpose. And she's a great main character. She really is.
Yeah. I didn't watch this video, but I saw like there's some video essay about Kiki's delivery service that calls her a millennial starving artist, and it's like, I can see that. Just
Kinda.
It kind of. It's especially like the sort of like workaholism that she goes at first. Like she's had this like this can do of like, I just gotta keep working. Like when she's like carrying this like extremely heavy package, and she had to like juggle like different different like deliveries at once. The fantastic her first delivery when they lose a toy and Gigi has to take the toy's place.
Oh my god.
There's so much great like physical comedy with Gigi pretending to be a toy. I love all that. But like Kiki is like trying to like be nice to be nice to like crows, and there's like and like she finds like this artist in the woods, and she just like chills for a bit while like Gigi is dying.
Yes.
He's terrified of the dog, even though the turns out to be a marvelous dog.
Oh, that was a good dog. That was a good dog.
Oh, that was such a... What kind of dog can close the door behind them? Amazing.
Yeah, honestly.
He's well trained.
All the kid has to do is say, "Don't forget to close the door on your way out," and or your way back in. Whatever.
I wish my dog could do that. My dog doesn't even comprehend what a door is sometimes.
I think that the fact that the dog is very old helped, because I had a very old dog, and like it's like after late into their life, they just kind of chill out.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, it's another day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, a cat this time. You're actually a cat.
Yeah.
I will protect you and love you.
Oh.
So, little known fact about Kiki. She's a wanted criminal.
Oh yeah! And it doesn't like pay off. It just doesn't let go.
Yeah, he just kind of stops. At the end of the movie, you see that cop. He's like,
Hey, you're wanted. I'm supposed to tell your parents about this. You almost caused an accident.
Yeah, when she tries to stay at the hotel, they ask her for ID. That's like too real.
Oh my god, yes.
Relatable.
Never mind.
Why didn't they like at least plan enough to get her some identification? Because like, how the hell would she supposed to like make herself in a city without like identification?
Yeah, on her own. Everything's on her own. That's the culture.
Huh.
Sometimes it sucks to be a witch.
Luckily, this isn't this isn't a terrible world. It's one that you can live in even if you don't have an ID to live in a hotel.
Yeah, it's Animal Crossing style.
Well, she was very lucky.
Tom Nook doesn't ask for identification.
She was very lucky to find the owner of a bakery who saw her potential and gave her a place to stay, and also to like run her own business, and like she does like 2 jobs at once, and it's like and it becomes like later on in the film that we find out that this is an allegory or an analogy, one of those things.
One of the two.
She's an artist.
Yes,
that's part of the millennial starving artist that I mentioned.
There's literally a starving artist in this film.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. Like, she's sad that she just have to eat pancakes to make do, and the Gigi's like, yeah, I like pancakes.
You want to stay fat forever, Gigi? When you get fat, don't complain to me, or something like that.
Oh.
But yeah, I saw that. I felt the starving artist in this one a lot. Just like working yourself until as much as you can to the point of burnout almost, where you feel like you can't do anything anymore. Oh God, that's hit all of us, I'm sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, I can definitely see a lot of the like, especially in this fast and loose world where if you're not ahead, you're behind, and it gets crushing. It gets really, really crushing.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do. Not just for like trying to get ahead with things, but also just because you as a person can physically handle so much. And it got to the point where we even see Kiki like tired at like one point where she just stays in bed sick and honestly a little bit depressed.
She does go through a depressive episode, and like, and it gets to a point where like she can't, her mood like affects her art, or in this case her craft,
her witchcraft.
Although in this case she's and I do like that that we saw that one wish that came in earlier that said like, oh, I do fortunes. Because like otherwise I would have just said all being a witch is like flying on a broom? Is that the whole thing? Because that's what it seemed for, like, so long.
I mean, you do hear in the beginning of the movie, her mom comments that, there is a lot more to being a witch. It's just the only thing that Kiki's ever really bothered practicing with was flying.
Yeah,
she was worried. She was worried that Kiki was never really going to be able to find anything to do because all these things that witches can do, and all she ever did was fly. We see Kiki's mom do science.
Potions.
Science.
Yeah.
Potions.
I
science.
could almost call it like alchemy.
Science.
Like that.
And we see the fortune teller witch, and Kiki obviously has her delivery service. So it's not that all witches do the same thing. It's witches have their calling, and that's what they do, and the world is accepting of it. They know that witches exist. They know that they have their thing, and they're like, cool, whatever, get a job.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was wondering if it was, at first whether it was gonna be like she would have to protect her witch identity. But it's like the cop just says like, you didn't care, you're still a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a witch, so what? You're still doing the time,
Yeah.
you're doing the crime.
Exactly, she's still a small town girl living in a lonely world. Like, what else is gonna... They're just gonna treat her like any other person, which is that they're gonna write her up a ticket for a more caught in an accident.
And she did take the midnight train going anywhere.
Yeah, well... Oh yeah, she did! If I had to pick a fault of the film, it's probably like the message, cause, as we said, the allegory, is that her witchcraft is synonymous to the artist and her painting, or like, really like any sort of skill.
Any sort of skill and passion, or project you want to do with your passion.
Yeah, exactly, it's very broad. It's far broader than just like art. You can apply it to and it was very smart of them to have Kiki be like to just be a delivery person, because that's how it broaden out the message, rather than just, because there are so many films where it's very clearly like it's for artists, and like that's fine, but that's not what a lot of people are. That's not what they
not
really want.
Not everyone wants to be a starving artist.
Exactly. Well, nobody wants to be starving, first off.
Well, not everyone wants to be an artist, but everyone... Not everyone wants to be an artist, but everyone wants to accomplish their goals and develop their skills and use their skills that they're good at to accomplish their goals. Everyone wants to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I really like that like, I really like that they kind of broadened that out. My issue, I guess, is that this is, I guess it's just like, I was watching that, and there was that they brought up the artist like comes by and like makes that allegory, and like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then my brain started thinking about it for a little more, and I was starting to think like, is this one of those? It seems a lot like this film is making the preposition that like Kiki's talent is like natural, and that it just comes to her. When that's really not how art or creativity or skills work. Like you're not born with it. You practice it and you develop it, and it seemed more like this. I'll probably just have to like think on this a little more so I can like try to clarify what I'm saying. I don't know how much of what I'm saying is like coming through.
I understand it. I mean, pretty much the long and short of what you're saying is that it is a movie about a starving millennial artist, but that you gotta work towards your craft, and the beginning and middle of the movie pretty much say that Kiki was a natural addict. She didn't work at it, and that's not how this stuff works. Yeah, and it proposes that like, oh, this is just what you're born with. This is just your destiny, and this is part of why I was saying earlier, like, what if like there's got to be more to witchcraft than flying, because the big thing is that like she loses her magic, and rather than someone saying like try something else, there might be more to it. It's just like take a break and then go back into it.
And it could just very well be that she just needs to find another calling. That is absolutely can happen. Sometimes it's just like there's some interests that just kind of burn out, and there's nothing wrong with that.
In the case of specifically the movie, I mean, nobody really knows how witchcraft works. You can't just say, "Oh, you're a witch. There are other witch things you could do, right? Like, the other thing.
You could do fortunes, right?
That works for, like, the allegory, but not so much in a literal sense for the movie.
Yeah.
I agree with your point, actually. I'm not trying to say, like, I disagree. I do agree with the point that, Kiki kind of had it naturally, and that's not kind of how this thing works. I do agree with that.
Yeah. And also, she can't really ask for, like, witch advice because she's supposed to be the only witch in the town in order for her to even be there in the first place. That's one of the things of being dependent.
Am I the only person who at first thought that the artist was a secret witch?
Yeah, I thought that too.
There was going to be a twist.
I thought that too.
I thought there was going to be some sort of twist.
But I'm glad there wasn't. I'm glad there wasn't.
I'm glad there wasn't as well.
I mean, I'm with you that I'm glad, but of all my time seeing this movie, I never thought that.
Really? I thought that, by around the speech, that's when I thought it was going to be, or at least around the painting, I thought it was going to be that.
The point that made me think, like, oh, is she a witch, is when Kiki comes up to the cabin, and, she opens the door, and on the side is some sort of coat that I thought was like a witch's robe. And I thought there was going to be some sort of hidden thing, and also it's like what, and like the crows that she like draws on her book. I thought they were supposed to be like her sort of spirit animal, much like Gigi.
Yeah, because crows and witches used to get along well together, apparently.
Exactly, Gigi mentioned that, and I thought it was going to be some sort of payoff. I thought it was going to that was going to be some sort of payoff for a twist. And it wasn't.
But I'm okay with it not being a twist. It's like, it's refreshing to not have any twists in this film.
Absolutely. And you know another thing that's refreshing about this moment where she revisits the artist and they have a talk through. It's like in so many other, in a movie with a standard 3-act structure, like Kiki loses her witch powers. It becomes the mark of the 3rd act, and then the rest of it is her like, oh my god, I lost my witch powers, and if I don't get my witch powers back by midnight, I'll never become a witch again, or like something dumb
like that, yeah.
Something like that. And in the case of Kiki's delivery service, the big like climax is that an artist says, yeah, just go for a walk. Just chill.
I mean, the climax is probably what happens later.
Not to be so like uptight about it. Just like go.
Take a break.
Just like stop doing what you're doing, and then get back to it later on. Like it just kind of
like that's life.
Yeah, that's life. Sometimes you can't do what you got to do, and you got to take a break and give yourself a chance to breathe.
I really like that it's like this sort of this moment of like this I kind of want to call it a creative block, even though it's not. It's just that's the only really real word I have for it. Is that this block that she has where she just can't do her art. I like that it comes as a result of her having to apply her skills to having to apply her skills to work, because like it's just like flying was just something that she loved. And now it's a job.
Yes.
And it becomes a burner for yourself. The video that I was watching by Patrick H. Williams, I really hope I got that right, was that like he rewatched Kiki's delivery service during a time when he was having like a extreme like YouTuber burnout. Like he kept working at it, and then like he was finally like being like independent, where like YouTube revenue is finally how he makes his money, but it got to a point where it was just like there was just so much stress, so much work, and he was just completely like he just lost all of the energy that he had, and like when he rewatched like Kiki's delivery service, he cried because it's like this hits him in a very different way.
Yeah, I can see that definitely, and I can see why like that. I can see that happening because like a lot of people, not just with like YouTube or art or flying, burnout is real. Burnout does like zap the energy out of you. Even for stuff that you love doing. If that becomes a job where
especially for stuff you love doing.
Yeah, but the movie doesn't, have a super bleak outlook on it.
No, it doesn't.
It's still Kiki's delivery service. It's still...
I mean, there are moments where it looks a bit bleak, but even then the world is just like, you'll be fine.
It's not down. It's not, everything's over. It's it's take a
Yeah.
walk.
We don't have the moping scenes. We just have like, okay,
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
you know what? That's what's going on. Take a little break. Get some time to hang out with your old friends.
This could have so easily done like a misunderstanding between Kiki and a character we haven't talked about yet, Tombo.
Oh my God,
Where
Tombo.
she'd be like, I thought you would show up for the flight club or whatever the fuck. I guess we can't be friends anymore. And then like they play the all around me are familiar faces.
Life is a highway.
Oh my
We
God.
can't be friends anymore. Life's like a road you can travel on.
One day in, the next day gone. Oh, Waldo.
So, do we want to talk about him, or do we want to talk about Gigi?
GG! I want to talk about GG.
Let's talk about Gigi.
Gigi.
I love Gigi.
Let's talk about Phil Hartman.
Well, no. Well, Gigi was one of my favorite characters in the whole movie, honestly. I just love how passive-aggressive he got, and it was great.
Can I say, I am so sad that, like, we don't hear from Gigi, like, after Gigi, like, loses his voice, or at least from Kiki's perspective. Even when Kiki gets her powers back, we don't hear Gigi say anything again, and it's so sad for me. Cause it's just so much great energy from Gigi.
Yes.
Like the chemistry that Gigi has with the baker. Like the baker like pulls out all these like fresh donuts and just look straight at Gigi, and Gigi just like shivers, just like, oh, it's coming.
The baker husband, he was my favorite.
Oh my God, he's so great.
I love him.
He doesn't say a word.
I love him the most.
No, he just says, look. That's his only line, I think. Look.
He has some witty he has some witty one-liners or witty like lines in the Disney dub, but Japanese dub and the other one, Streamline, whatever. It's look. that's his dialogue.
Good.
Yeah. Okay,
that's all
good,
he needed.
That's good. I'm now like morbidly curious to see what were the one-liners they shoved in.
And why?
I say one-liners because I'm just used to saying that with Disney, but it's really just more like, oh, ow, 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 oh, like that. Nothing not actual, like full on.
Like when the businesswoman, when the bakery owner, baker? I guess he's a baker as well. The woman that takes her on, whose name I forgot. She's like, oh my God, I think I'm finally gonna have a baby. I can picture like the Disney dub going like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. Japanese and Streamline are just, but Disney. Ow.
Yeah, Disney is so quirky. Gigi. Gigi is a great character. It's a classic animal sidekick. A witch has a black cat. Makes sense. But Gigi just has so much personality. He's sassy. He's
so sassy.
He's so sassy. He's a terrible judge of character. I will say that. Like, he thinks everyone is either rude or out to get him.
Well, okay, you know what? That one, like, granddaughter that didn't like the herring pie.
Yeah.
Like,
Worst character in the movie. Worst character in the movie.
And she's only in it for, like, 2 minutes.
I can't think of anybody.
30 seconds.
I can't think of anybody who's seen that character, like, got to that part of the movie and, like, didn't feel, like, hurt. annoyed, angry.
Yeah, and that was part of that. Like after that was like when that was when she just like burnt out. When Kiki just burnt out because it was like just so fucking ungrateful.
Yeah, because she worked hard with this sweet old woman to just make this pie on her birthday, and she goes, "I hate Grandma's pies." Fuck you! I'll eat the pie. Well, this one's on the house.
I'll be honest, I'm not gonna eat a fish pie, but come on.
Why did you bring my drink? My diet Dr. Kelp?
As Wash was saying before, in, every other movie, that would have been the moment where Kiki gets angry and says, "This one's on the house," and makes a ruckus out of it.
I made that joke first.
And then is she still gonna have her delivery service? But no, in this movie, it's when the burnout hits, and it's just something that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Gigi, we're talking about Gigi.
Then quite.
Why is it so hard to talk about this cat? This cat is adorable.
I don't know. We all love him.
Yes,
I don't know why it's so hard.
That's why.
We're talking because I think we're just spending a lot of time on like Kiki earlier, and it's just we're now having to like rush through the characters that we all liked.
Well, to be fair,
maybe it's just the kind of movie that it is. This is a movie where things happen, and we talk, we bring up a character, and that just naturally lends itself to something else.
Okay, Gigi's great though. Although terrible judge of character. They think the dog. They're worried about the dog going to kill them. The dog turns out being marvelous and helping them out. He thinks that the witch is snotty in the beginning, when really she does a little snotty at first, but she still has some words of wisdom. He thinks the cat is...
He had issues with the cat, and the cat didn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The cat was...
I was waiting for that. I was gonna do the third one. Literally, he has no issue... He's like... the cat just, did nothing. And then eventually he gets to know the cat, and then they're like, oh, they're friends now, and then now they're more than friends. And then you see at the end, Gigi got busy!
Aww, and the friggin' thing in the end credit when Kiki's on the broom and Gigi has the tiny child on a string on a leash trying to teach the child how to be a witch's cat, and it's like, Ma, and the cat is so energetic and almost falls off the broom.
It's adorable. Gigi is adorable. I hate how he gets
the movie had a lot of good laughs, but definitely the hardest laugh was the whole thing with Gigi and the dog.
Yes.
That first scene when the dog's sleeping, Gigi's like, "Don't come any closer, stay asleep." And then the dog wakes up, Gigi starts to panic, sweat.
She's he's visibly sweating all over.
Yeah, that sweat's coming off too.
And then the dog just sniffs him, gets closer, and gives him a hug. And
yeah.
And that's just sweet. It's sweet.
The movie's sweet.
It's so kind-hearted. Yeah.
Speaking of kind-hearted, there's a lot of characters in this movie who are kind-hearted. There's Ursula, I think her name is the baker, the baker woman.
Oh, is that her name? Ursula?
Osano. Osano, who's...
Oh, Osano. That's right.
Osano does a good job. Osano. She's actually very helpful, and she's the reason Kiki has a place to stay, and she's, kind through and through. I don't know his name, but I'm calling him Waldo, because he looks like he wears the Waldo outfit. The aviation guy, a kid who, sees Kiki from the very beginning, and just, is fascinated by her. It's the best description.
Oh,
Tombo. I call him Waldo, but Tombo.
Oh, that's who. I thought you were saying the giant baker guy was named Waldo.
No!
It's like, what the fuck? I was so
no, Tombo looks like his
Tombo.
outfit literally reminds me of Waldo, just without the hat.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Tombo and his murder machine.
Yes, his murder machine. Oh my god. That
is so impractical.
I know, but it's still great. It works with Miyazaki.
It does. It's just that that thing's gonna behead somebody.
Yeah, he's one of those. But Tombo is one of those people who's kind of like me, as in doesn't know when to shut up and says the wrong thing.
And Tombo bystander here.
Damn it! Beat me to it.
Oh god! But yeah, I saw that. I'm like, why'd you say that? That you didn't really think that one through. Oh. Oh. Oh, is this how people perceive me? Am I Tombo?
Hey.
But at least he has good intentions.
That's not fair. That's not fair, Random. You have better glasses.
Thank you. But he still has good intentions at heart. Like, she's like, she really, like, avoids him to the point where when he comes to visit her in the bakery shop, she, like, reads a map.
Yeah, it's not even the newspaper, it's the map.
Yeah. But eventually when...
Well, to be fair, she did just get a call, so she does genuinely need to use that map.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her a bit of credit.
But at the same time, he, like, was just... He just was...
Oh, yeah. She's still using it, like, to snub him. And I will say that, like, for a long while into it, I wasn't that into Tombo. That might change if I ever, like, rewatch this film, which I probably will. But, like, my first viewing of it, I just got this vibe of just, like, chill out and just, like, walk away. He's not into you, dude.
It's not happening. Give up. I'll move on to the next one. It's alright. Try again.
But, and it's like he like the stuff he's saying where it's like he's saying she's a witch. She always wears black or something like that. It's just like it just comes off really rude and just really like.
But he has good intentions.
He does. He does deep down. He invites her to the flying club.
In a way. In a way, and I guess it's just that, like, he never apologizes for that. He never really sees the error of his ways. He just keeps at it.
But he has good intentions.
The part where they actually, like, the part where Osano just forces a blind date on them. He says, "Hey, I got a delivery for you." Oh, it's me, Tombo.
But she had good intentions.
Damn it. That moment, from that point, when they have the bike, bicycling, and they finally like start to like hang out, and it was like, okay, that's nice, that's fine. And then she this is something that confused me a bit, was they're talking at the beach and and talking about them about her about flying and about her flight, and Tombo sees some friends,
the cool kids, I guess.
The cool kids come by, and like instantly Kiki goes cold and just like walked away. And it was, at first I was a little I was confused at first. It was like, where was this coming from? It seemed like they were having a good time. It wasn't really made clear that like they were being like rude or disrespectful. But then it was like, oh wait, this is what I do. It's like, and she even said like later on in the film, it's like she just take this all this energy to like meet new people, and then she just like shuts out. And it's like, oh, that's what I do.
I think that's what we all do at one point.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean,
we're all like that.
Even when I was in college and I tried to meet as many people as possible, there was points where I went, okay, I'm done. I need some time to recharge. There's only so much I can do right now. Give me a minute. Especially when they're like, I don't know, when they have a bit of an arrogant vibe to them.
I can definitely see that arrogant, because there's definitely like an arrogant vibe, although it seemed to like work itself out by the end of it.
Yeah, I don't. Tombo does have some issues, I will say that, but
so
He's not my favorite character.
He's not, but at the same time, there's a lot worse things they could have done with him.
Yeah. Fair.
He's not the grandkid.
No. He's not the grandkid. Thank Christ for that.
So, okay, can we talk about this? Not the old lady. The grandma, she's fine. Her assistant.
Yes.
When, at the end of the movie, when the blimp is flying around crashes, and everyone's like, flying, soaring in the air, it goes out, she says, it always cuts off at the interesting moment.
And she had like this thirst for blood, like murder.
Oh my god!
Our only opinion of her prior to that in the film is, she's nice. She really likes that Kiki's a witch. She gets on Kiki's broom and tries to like kind of emulate being a witch. I guess to live out some kind of fantasy, and it's great. And then we find out that she's like a homicidal maniac.
Yeah,
it's always the one. It's always the one you least expect.
Yeah. Maybe she's more of a traditional witch in that regard.
Yeah, maybe she's the witch. Yeah, I don't know.
Technology will destroy us all.
I don't know. There's something about her that entertained me. She hates electricity. She hates electricity, but will watch the television no problem.
Yeah.
As long as the TV can turn on, then she's okay with it.
Yeah.
That oven had it out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oven was literally asking for it.
Speaking of the climax, with the dirigible,
holy shit!
That was a pretty good, climax.
Yeah. I mean, it escalated very quickly, but once it did, it was, oh god, okay, yes. Alright then.
Yeah, and
save Tombo for the blimp.
Punches. Yeah. It gets really, really terrifying.
Especially when you're not even, there's one line where they go, the blimp will not explode. Should it explode? Is it going to explode?
Yeah.
If it was a helium, dirigible, yeah.
Yeah. So that made me think, the fact
because
that
helium is still flammable.
Yeah. So especially when the balloon crashed, I'm like, that might explode now. It didn't.
Well, it was a very safe landing. It landed on the clock tower, and then, everything's fine. Everybody was when Kiki finally gets the broom under control. Which first off, I like that. I like that they that her way of saving the day was because the artists were talking about how she had to stop imitating other artists to find her own voice and her own path in art, and with Kiki, she rather than trying to spending the time earlier recreating her mother's broom, and in this dire situation, she just finds a janitor. Give me your broom, Mr. Street Sweeper. And then she makes magic out of that. And,
that's my broom. I gave it to her myself.
I gave it to her myself. I was just gonna say, I take some issue with the climax, but that, absolutely not. That made it all worth it.
I will say that, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, I feel like there could have been, a little more than just she uses a different broom. But aside from that, I'm fine with it. This is nice. This is very nice. And to get back to what I was saying, when she finally gets control of the broom and catches Tombo, and holding on, and they start floating down. The whole town is cheering for them, and all I'm thinking is, they haven't landed yet! They're still 20 feet above the air! They can still die! Hold on!
A piece of the blimp could fall on them, and then death hits them.
And then not only that, but also there's still people trapped on the dirigible.
Oh yeah, you're right.
What about them?
Yeah, they're adults, who cares?
They're adults, this is a kid.
They didn't have the thrilling escape like the kid did.
Also, Tombo, what the hell are you doing trying to try and grab onto a rope when a blimp is hanging upside down?
Okay, to be fair, everybody else was trying to put weight onto the dirigible to try to anchor it down, and then it didn't work, and it turned out that Tombo was the last one that was still holding on to it.
Tombo was just, if we know Tombo, he's persistent as fuck. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In character.
Persistent to a fault.
Yep, they almost killed him. But,
Then that car like dropped down into a swimming pool.
Thank God it was a swimming pool. It wasn't like pavement.
yeah.
Yeah. And there's still like some guy inside the pool. That would have been horrifying.
Everybody ran out in time.
Yeah.
They saw the car drop.
There was still one guy. There was definitely still one guy left. That was like trying to escape, and it washes over. I saw it.
It washes over.
You better wash your language, buddy.
With soap.
With soap.
Moving on. Gusto?
I said with soap! Get Ratatouille Twang your panda out of this.
Well, there's no easy way to segue out of this, so I'll just get back to the climax.
Yes,
It's a good climax, but I do take issue with it. It's structured fine, it's exciting, it's fun, it's well resolved. Like I said, the janitor, great. But my problem with the climax is that it feels like it's from a different movie almost.
a little bit.
The
yeah.
rest of the movie is the rest of the movie, like, it's set on what it is. It's not repetitive. It's a very nice, calm, laid back film, which doesn't force itself to use, like, strategies and filmmaking stuff from other movies. It does its own thing.
The ticking clock that I was talking about earlier, where it's like, oh, if I don't get my powers back by da 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 da, you know.
Yeah, like that. But then here's a movie that it's like, oh, well, the movie's about to end. We gotta have a climax. What are we gonna do for a climax? We'll have this big moment of the blimp going, this kid's hanging off, it's flying everywhere, they're going through the town, Kiki's gotta get her powers back before time runs out, which is literally what you were saying. And she's gotta get the broom, and then they have a moment where they're trying to catch each other, they're trying to grab, but they're just missing, and the news reporter's freaking out! And it's good. It's not that I think the climax is bad, because it's good. I got into it. But it's not Kiki's delivery service. It's not.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
With that sentiment. It definitely. I can think of another movie. I think it's like 12 Cloverfield Lane had a very similar problem where it kind of goes through a very slow burn, and then the very last portion is like it feels like a completely different thing.
But on the same time, how else are you supposed to end this movie?
Yeah, to be fair, like if
I don't know what else to do.
Like, you're gonna have some sort of climax where Kiki where Kiki gets her because like the whole thing is about her flying, and so you probably have to have a climax where she could solve a problem with flight. And this is something we didn't get to mention that, but like when they revisit the during that moment when while both the maid is going like death, blood, murder at the TV, the grandma gives Kiki Kiki a delivery, and she sees that Kiki finds out that she baked her a cake.
Oh,
and
that was such a sweet moment.
First off, I cried. That made me cry.
Aww.
When she saw that, because and second, that kind of put everything together, because a big thing about her burnout was her thinking about why am I a witch? Why do I become a witch? And that cake is why. Because it's delicious and she wants more cake. No, it's because she wants to help people, and she wants to use her gift to help people, and it's like the the crushing thing with that fucking granddaughter was that it felt thankless in the moment. It felt like she was just putting in all this work on herself for nothing. And here was proof that no, people genuinely care about her, and they genuinely can't thank her enough for what she's done, and that's very, very sweet.
When I saw this movie for the first time, and Grandma baked a cake for Kiki, and she had that whole speech, I don't know why I interpreted it like this, but I was like, oh my god, is she going crazy? Does she not remember who Kiki is? That's so sad! and then, you know, and then they had their happy moment. I was just like, thank God! I don't think I would have been able to handle that.
Oh my god! It's so morbid!
It was pretty bad.
It's Kiki's delivery service.
I know.
Not Memento. What the fuck?
I'm the one complaining about the climax, and I'm also the one thinking, "Oh my god, is this old lady getting Alzheimer's?"
First, she loses her powers. She loses the ability to speak with her best friend, the cat. Then she can't do her dream. And then now she's the grandmother that she, like, kind of looked up to and is very sweet is dying of Alzheimer's. What the fuck?
No, what I want is like, in her mind, in the grandma's mind, like, she's playing this stuff, like, can you deliver this to Kiki? Like, oh, she's delivering it to herself, and it's a little cute moment. And then Kiki says, it's Grandma, it's me, your granddaughter.
Oh my god.
That would be like, fuck!
Let's get like the gritty Kiki's delivery service.
Oh my god.
We'll get Tim Burton to direct it. It'll be great.
Tim Burton would fuck it up so bad.
Danny Elfman would be composing it.
Oh my god, speaking of, I love this score. I love this score.
Yes. The music. Yes.
The wonderful use of leitmotif, and it's just, it really hammers home that feel good, nostalgic vibe. It's just, I love that score so much, and I wanna download that score and like listen to it, because it's such a wonderfully crafted, score. It's beautiful.
So good.
That's really all I can say on it, because, whew, that was a good score.
Very good.
Don't you dare try to like recreate a Danny Elfman.
No Kiki's Delivery Service live action. Thank God Disney doesn't get involved with that stuff anymore. They would make a live action remake of it.
Yeah, could you imagine live action
Kiki's?
Live action Kiki's, but I mean anything, like live action Totoro, live action Mononoke, live action Ponyo.
Live action Kiki would just be Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Honestly!
Like what's the cat's called?
Salem!
Yeah. It would just be Salem. Yeah.
Sabrina, what are you doing? So that's why they probably went with Phil Hartman, because they thought of Salem from Sabrina.
Oh, is it?
It's not the same actor, but it sure sounds like him.
I was like, did they really miscast that bad?
No, but like Salem is played by like a, hi there, how you doing? I don't know what's going on, but I'm a talking cat. So maybe that's what they were going for.
Yeah, it's a very deep voice. I would say that the Japanese, with the Japanese version, I was a little confused at first with Gigi's gender, and then it turned out that it was they were father, and it was because the Gigi was performed by a female voice actor, and so I was a little unsure on the gender part of it, but my question was thoroughly answered.
This is something that I like about the Disney dub. I think came after the streamlined dub, but still in Japanese, obviously, like Wash said, played by a female. In the Disney dub, Phil Hartman. In the streamlined dub, I didn't really get any notable actors, but in the streamlined dub, the person who plays him, is a male, but it's not as deep voiced as Phil Hartman. There is much more it's a much more of a higher pitch to it, so not only does it sound, you know, I don't want to say more like the Japanese version, but less definitively like, oh, deep voice Phil Hartman. But because it's a higher pitch, there's automatically just more of a sassy tone to it, and that really fits Gigi.
Okay.
It came out really good.
Yeah,
it came out really good, I thought.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I like that. Yeah, cause I feel like the higher pitch fits the sassy personality a lot more than Phil Hartman.
Yeah. I mean, they even in the dub they higher Phil Hartman's pitch a bit, but it's not enough.
Like the bit where like Gigi Osano.
Osano, yeah.
Yeah. The moment where Osano makes them breakfast and it gives Gigi some oatmeal, and like Gigi burns her tongue on the oatmeal. I can't picture Phil Hartman performing that well.
Yeah.
That oatmeal burnt my tongue.
Like Robin Williams, yeah.
Anyway, it's final thoughts time. I'm gonna keep going on my high of going last and go last. So whoever would like to go first, take the mic.
Random, would you like to?
No.
Okay, I will go.
I'm kidding. I don't really care. But I just wanted to say that. I love this film. I really, really loved it. I loved how like simple it was, how cozy it was, how comfy it was, how it was just a slice of life, a piece where a character moves on their own and grows independently and learns how to grow as a person and learns how to deal with how to grow their like talents and deal with burnout and stuff like that. It's just a very comfy film. Everyone just seems nice. It's gorgeous. It's a great introduction to anime. I will say that. A fantastic introduction to anime.
Should have been the introduction, but oops.
It's okay. I like this one a lot. Are we gonna say our rankings here, or should we say it later, or unofficial?
We always do it after.
Okay, I'll talk about it later. But I really, really enjoyed this film. I really did. It was fantastic, and makes me want to watch more Miyazaki films.
All right. Overall, this was a. It was very nice after Red Line to have something to just like slow down to, and if you notice, we also had like a lot more to talk about with this film than with Red Line. Even though probably less happens. Actually, that's a good question. This was just a really, really solid, it's a slow down film, it's a character study, it's a film about craft and burnout and finding yourself in a new world, in a new city, coming of age story. It just has so many great parts. Kiki is fantastic. Gigi is hilarious. And the townsfolk is just like, there's so many characters that we just brushed over. Cause there's just like so much, goodness in this town. No, I adored it, and I'm probably gonna rewatch this soon.
All right, and then it's my turn.
For you.
Your turn, Kirbyfan. Your turn.
So to answer my question at the beginning, do I still like this film? Yes. I love Kiki's. I love. What's so good about Kiki's to me? There are things that there's a thing that I take issue with, the climax, but there's nothing about the movie that I don't like. I like everything in this movie. I love the characters, the setting, the visuals, the pace, the fact that it didn't feel like it had to force itself to use the 3-act structure when obviously it really didn't. It did its own thing. It had its own pace with its own style, its own characters, and it all came out wonderfully. Since I saw it for the first time, this has been my favorite Miyazaki film, and it stands as my absolute favorite. I love Kiki's. This is a movie really like no other. The only movie that makes me feel things like this movie does, and I'll say it again, is Cars. But it's, and I love that sentence.
I'm sorry.
I was expecting something else.
I love that
I was
sentence.
not expecting Cars.
I love that sense. But Kiki's is a movie about Kiki going to a town and learning more about this small, cozy town and the way everything is. You learn about the townsfolk, you learn about the characters, Kiki's own personal growth. It hits me in the same places that the climax is completely different from Cars, I'll give you that. And, you know, the ultimate resolution, but the what's so good about it, it's what I get from Cars. I know you said Good Dinosaur before, but frick that. Don't compare Kiki's to Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, don't you dare.
But I love it. I really love it. And that's my opinion on Kiki's Delivery Service. So, our conversation you go first.
I was gonna say that, cause you had mentioned that this is your favorite, having now watched, 3 Miyazaki films, I think I would also put Kiki's Delivery Service as my top thus far. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I did have some issues, especially with the mention with the like art and the, or skills and the allegory with that, which was like, Miyazaki, you gotta think that through a little better, but this was nice.
So, conversation piece. This one we might actually spend a little bit of time on. I specifically didn't bring this up when it was time for the climax. Wash skimmed over it and never got back to it. I'm really glad they didn't. At the very end of the movie, when Kiki lands with Tombo and Gigi runs up to her, she goes, "Oh, Gigi," and Gigi meows, and, you know, that's it. In the Japanese version, that's what happens. In the streamlined dub, that's what happens. In the redone Disney dub, that's what happens. In the original Disney dub,
oh no, what did they do?
Gigi says,
"Hey, how's it hanging?"
"Kiki, can you hear me?" "Oh, Gigi." and then Phil Hartman does this, like, in the Phil Hartman voice, he does like a goofy meow as a joke, and Kiki's like, "Ha ha ha." And yeah, that changes everything.
Kiki, can you hear me?
I mean, yeah, it's funny, but
that sucks so bad.
yeah, it changes everything. It changes everything. Like, the whole point of Kiki not being able to hear Gigi is that, like, you know, the whole thing with, you know, the witch's cat as a guide. She doesn't need the guidance anymore. And she still, you know, can have Gigi. Like, Gigi's now just a cat. But no, Phil Hartman's gotta get his 2 cents in there, and she can hear Gigi again, and what do you guys think about that? It's pretty clear by my tone what I think of it, but what do you two think of it?
I think you can tell by my laughter what I think of that. Random?
What do I even say?
Now, that's not the only difference. There are other differences. Phil Hartman throws in a lot of, ad-lib lines. The music is completely different from the Japanese version. It's a bit more goofiness to the dialogue, you know, standard Disney stuff. But really the big difference and the reason why I kind of avoided the Disney dub, well, okay, the reason I avoid the Disney dub is the Phil Hartman thing. I love Phil Hartman, but miscast. But big reason, like, that's why I generally avoid the redone Disney dub. The original Disney dub I avoid because I'm glad you found it funny, Wash. I'm glad you found it funny. But it kills the message for me. It's so Disney.
It's way too
It is. It really is. It's such a bad choice.
I think would it have been any better if it wasn't Phil Hartman?
No, because
No.
it still ruins the message.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's kind of the...
I kind of forget that Gigi is kind of a spirit guide animal.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
I mean, I like that interpretation that, like, that's why Gigi doesn't talk anymore, because he's done. He's settled down. He's settled down with his own cats, and now he's just a cat.
He started a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now he's training the little son to be
A kid.
guidance animal.
Yeah.
And the cat is fucking up. The little son is like falling off the broom. He's like, what are you doing? Arlo, what are you doing?
Arlo, what are you...
You fuck!
What the fuck?
Arlo, what are you
Come
doing?
Come on, Gigi Jr. Come on, Gigi Jr. Oh god, that was so... I get it. I get why they do it. There's some things that should be that might need to be changed for cultural reasons, or for...
I think for that one, it was just that, like, they just saw the surface level, cause like I mentioned that, like, it was kind of sad that, like, after that point, we don't get to hear from Gigi again, we don't get to hear his sassiness. So they brought it back just to, like, have that, but it
doesn't work.
Do you want to know what's actually really funny about it? So you remember how that scene was framed, right? Visually, like how it animated when Gigi was running through the crowd, not saying anything. Disney didn't change any of the animation, so you just see Gigi running in the crowd, clearly not having said anything, saying, "Kiki, can you hear me?"
Oh god. I'm talking to you through mind tricks.
Yeah. Although I guess to give the Disney dub any kind of credit, the final, like, the send-off of the movie is still Kiki reading the note. That's still how the movie, like, ends, and they didn't change anything.
Wait, Kiki reading the note?
Yeah.
The
parents reading the note, but Kiki's narration takes over at the end.
Okay.
Like, none of that changed.
That's good, at least.
That was really nice.
Yeah, that was a great way to end the film.
Yeah.
But
I would have liked to see, like, more of the parents as well, but yeah,
daughter, can you hear us?
Arlo, can you hear me?
Oh god, now go get that critter.
Like happening.
Arlo, can you hear me? Good, now go get that critter. What have we done?
What is it about Good Dinosaur?
I didn't want that dumb spirit animal anyway.
I didn't want to hear you anyway.
Meow.
Oh no, I can't speak to Gigi. You'll be able to speak to Gigi again someday. I don't want to speak to that dumb Gigi anyway.
It always comes back to Good Dinosaur.
Not Cars.
Nice.
Think about it this way. Not Cars 2, not Bug's Life, Good Dinosaur.
Yes. Why is the one that I hate the one that keeps coming back?
Because it's the funny one.
It is, honestly.
It's the funny one.
Anyway, I know Wash isn't ranking them and Random is, but for my rankings, I definitely put this above Wolf Children and Red Line. I love those movies both, but this is definitely, I prefer this. But, say it with me, I didn't like it as much as I liked Silent Voice. There was less that I disliked about Kiki's, but what was good about Silent Voice was just, like, so out of this world. I love Kiki's. I love Kiki's, and it's not like, oh, I hate Kiki's because of Silent Voice. But I do prefer Silent Voice.
I can, even though I'm not gonna rank it, I can definitely see that, like, that silent voice does not pull any punches. Like, it gets really dark, and it gets really, like, it gets really raw. And Kiki's delivery service, it doesn't quite go as far, and that's fine. Because it really doesn't have to be that film.
Exactly.
But I can definitely see why you would prefer one over the other. Now, Random, you're the one who actually is supposed to be ranking these.
As best I can, anyway. Again, this is my first viewing list, so these rankings are subject to change. I
What
think...
was your ranking again?
I think it's Wolf Children, Red Line, Silent Voice.
Okay.
I think Kiki's is better than Wolf Children and Red Line. I thought for a minute it would be better than Silent Voice, but every time I keep going back and thinking of that film, I keep thinking about how I almost cried. No, how I did cry multiple times, and it's so tough between those two. It's like a very thin margin, though, but I think Silent Voice is a bit better.
Okay.
It's very thin, and I want to watch both of them again.
Yeah. That's part of why I'm not ranking. I could probably say that I can pretty much say that I like this a lot better than Red Line. Mainly because, like, there's more to talk about.
Yes.
With Kiki over Red Line.
And I know...
As fun as Red Line is.
And I know why you like it better than Wolf Children. There's no ungrateful children. Well, there is an ungrateful children.
Wait! There is an ungrateful child!
You ungrateful!
How did we not piece this together sooner?
Go apologize to your grandmother right now!
Go do it, Ame! I mean, whatever your name... What is her name?
Ungrateful granddaughter.
Yeah.
Ungrateful grandchild. I have said in that episode, and I have said in the Red Line episode,
and
that
this one.
My main problem with Ame was the conclusion of it. Ame overall, perfectly fine. So I probably would have to rewatch both Wolf Surgeon and Kiki's in order to, like, really figure out a ranking between the two. So all I can really say is that I think it's a lot better than Red Line.
Alright. And now, we are 4 movies in, and so far, bare minimum, they've been good.
Very good.
Yeah, I love all 4 of these films. You know, I can get a ranking, but they're all close. Even between, like, Silent Voice and Wolf Children, it's a gap, but it's not that big of a gap. That's 4 movies. When I was coming up with the list of movies originally, Wash had the idea to say, well, don't do all good movies. You know, we gotta get the bad in there too. Don't lopside it too much. So I had to think of a bad movie, and originally I was gonna do one of the Pokemon movies, but yeah, maybe another time. Pokemon it's like,
it's gonna be for a Pokemon perspective.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh no.
But
tempting. Very tempting.
So I was thinking of other anime films that I have seen for a bad one, and when talking about bad media properties, there is none more interesting, none more fun to talk about than Sonic the Hedgehog. We are watching the 1999 Sonic the Hedgehog film.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm so excited!
So...
Oh my god. I am... I'm now looking at the original design of the live-action Sonic, and I can't wait for anime Sonic.
So, if that wasn't exciting enough,
oh boy.
The Cars expert, not me, the other Cars expert, will be joining us. So not only will we be watching a bad movie, we will be watching it with the bad movie expert.
Yes. Count.
Our resident Count Rancid, from the Pixar perspective. I brought up, that we're gonna be doing a anime podcast, And I said, hey, what kind of, would you be interested? And he said, yeah, sure, what movies you got? And I gave him a list. And I didn't know it was the Sonic movie, so I wrote in mystery bad film. And he immediately went for that one, even though I told him multiple times, are you sure? He's adamant.
So, this works because we had 2 episodes, then a special guest, 1 episode and a special guest, and then 2 episodes without the special guest. So it's formatted nicely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, that would be nice.
But yeah, Sonic.
Now he's gonna find out sooner or later.
I can't wait for this one. So yeah, that about does it for this episode. I'm going Sonic Boom.
Yeah, I'm rolling around at the speed of sound.
I just killed the mood so bad.
So I had this thing ready. You two were gonna say your outros, and then I was gonna say meow, and you were gonna say, oh no, we can't hear Kirbyfan anymore.
Oh.
And then you were gonna watch the Sonic movie without me, and it was gonna be funny, and now I have to watch this movie.
Nice try. You ain't get out of this so easily. Good night, everybody.
And I hope you're looking forward to it as much as watches. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Meow.
Meow.
I am Phil Hartman.
I'm just gonna keep screaming out of the south, 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 out of the south.
Kiki's delivery service. Don't you dare compare.
Wow. No.
Damn it.